To this, investigators say a Florida man called 911 to report he was driving drunk and needed to be pulled over. Polk County Sheriff's Office says this man, Michael Lester, called in on New Year's Eve and was directed to pull over. Deputies say when they caught up with him, he admitted to having several beers and swallowing meth. Lester was arrested for driving under the influence and cited for driving on the wrong side of the road. Collier County deputies arresting a man for stealing a purse worth almost $900 from Saks Fifth Avenue. Deputies say they were called to the store in Naples yesterday. A security guard said he saw this man, 61-year-old James Kazuma, stealing a small black purse worth $869. Kazuma was arrested and now faces grand theft charges. Police are looking for the suspects who set off fireworks inside a Florida outlet mall on New Year's Eve, all just to steal a Rolex watch. The watch was worth $11,000. Sunrise police say surveillance video shows a man trying on the Rolex at the Zales in Sawgrass Mills. When those fireworks went off, frantic shoppers and employees ran for cover. The man ran out of the store with the watch still on his wrist.
It was a combined effort to set off a distraction, and you can almost see it in the video where he's on his phone, and as that communication goes off, the fireworks are set and he's out of the store.
What will they think of next? Police do have a few details on those suspects. They say they're reviewing the surveillance video, trying to find other people that are possibly involved in this distraction theft. President Trump's pick for Florida governor now says he is officially running. Conservative Congressman Ron DeSantis, whom Trump calls brilliant, is joining other Republicans like Adam Putnam in the Republican primary. Among the Democratic contenders are the daughter of former Governor Bob Graham, Gwen Graham, Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum, businessman Chris King, and Miami Beach Mayor Philip Levine. The president was up early today, taking to Twitter on the offensive against author Michael Wolff, whose new book, Fire and Fury, attacks the president's mental stability. Four Inner Corner's Rich Edson has more from the White House.
He was never in the Oval Office.
President Trump is attacking author Michael Wolff. His book claims the president is like a child, needs instant gratification, and that everyone around him questions his fitness for office. Early Saturday morning, the president tweeted in part, quote, "My two greatest assets have been mental stability and being like really smart. I went from very successful businessman to top TV star to president of the United States on my first try. I think that would qualify as not smart, but genius, and a very stable genius at that." A few hours later at Camp David, the president said Wolff's claims are nonsense.
We didn't have an interview, and I did a quick interview with him a long time ago having to do with an article. But I don't know this man. I guess Sloppy Steve brought him into the White House quite a bit, and it was one of those things. That's why Sloppy Steve is now looking for a job.
The president is at Camp David for meetings with senior officials in his administration and congressional Republican leadership, devising their legislative agenda and strategy.
We hope that 2018 will be a year of more bipartisan cooperation, things that we believe there will be a significant number of Democrats interested in helping us accomplish.
President Trump is also responding to reports claiming he directed White House officials to pressure Attorney General Jeff Sessions against recusing himself from the Russia investigation. The president said, "Everything I've done is 100% proper." At the White House, Rich Edson, Fox News.
Since this morning, President Trump has not tweeted about the book or about Michael Wolff, but more commentary is expected to be coming as this book sells. Canines and their officer companions spending the day at Sunsplash Water Park, and the reason why wasn't just for fun and games. What they did while they were there to show support for fallen officers. And a young boy traveled all the way from Colorado to Miami to see the zoo. Why he took this journey and what's next for this boy. But first, lotto fever spreading like wildfire. We catch you up on everything you need to know before the big Powerball drawing tonight, live. Only on Fox 4. You're watching Fox 4 News at 10.
Live from the station that's in your corner. News with Lisa Greenberg and weather with meteorologist Tony Sadiku. This is Fox 4 News at 10.
There is a new millionaire in Florida. The winning Mega Millions ticket was sold right in the Sunshine State. Lottery officials say it was bought at a 7-Eleven in Port Richey. So if you weren't the lucky winner of the $450 million jackpot, you still have a shot at becoming a millionaire tonight. Take a listen.
ticket after ticket after ticket, as folks in Cape Coral play their 1 in 292 million odds in winning big.
I'm gonna win.
And while some say they're trying to be a bit more realistic,
You ain't gonna win.
others believe they have that winning ticket.
Oh yeah, I got him right here. That's it.
As much chance as everybody else.
Tonight's Powerball jackpot climbing to $570 million.
I don't know if I can go through all that though in my life.
Still, he says he'd gladly accept the challenge of trying.
I'm gonna be coming in here and I'll just buy the whole store now.
But really, what do you do with that much money?
Give some to my son, my family. I'd help a lot of people, but mostly I'd spend it.
Buy my mama a house.
Give some away and take care of my kids, and then me and the missus is gonna relax and not do anything.
It sure is nice to dream, and remember,
Don't win unless you play.
And tonight's Powerball drawing again is for a whopping $570 million. So make sure you stay tuned into Fox 4 for the live drawing. It's at 10:59 p.m., just about 45 minutes from now. And if you miss it, you can always be sure to find the latest news and updates on the lottery on fox4now.com. Minnesota Twins tickets are now on sale at Hammond Stadium's box office in Fort Myers. Tickets can also be bought on www.twinsbaseball.com. Twins pitchers and catchers are scheduled for their workouts on Wednesday, February 14th, and the first full squad workout will be on Monday, February 19th. The Twins have also announced plans for the 2018 Spring Training Open House. It's at the CenturyLink Sports Complex on the morning of February 19th. With the Governor Scott adding Florida to FirstNet, all 50 states are signed up to the First Responder Broadband Network. The special bandwidth is designed for first responders to communicate better under emergency scenarios. We spoke to a Martin County Sheriff's deputy who says although it's up to each agency to take part in the network, having a backup plan on your phone is certainly encouraging.
This will give us the ability to be able to communicate with fellow sheriff's offices or police departments.
FirstNet was created to address communication failures experienced by first responders during 911. The sheriff says he is confident the network will contribute to keeping Floridians safe. Florida officials say hackers may have accessed the personal information and medical records of up to 30,000 Medicaid recipients 2 months ago. The state's Agency for Healthcare and Administration says one of its employees was the victim of a malicious phishing email on November 15th. An investigation revealed hackers may have accessed enrollees' full names, their Medicaid ID numbers, birthdays, addresses, diagnoses, medical conditions, and even Social Security numbers. People stuck in hotels because of Hurricane Irma are allowed to stay a little bit longer. FEMA is extending the stay from this Sunday, January 7th to February 11th. FEMA representatives will contact participants to let them know if they are eligible for this extension. Lee County is closing its 2 remaining Hurricane Irma debris drop-off sites at 5 p.m. Sunday, tomorrow. Starting on Monday, all debris should be placed on the curb like you normally would. Lee County estimates the cost of cleanup for hurricane debris at $40 million, though they expect FEMA will reimburse them for some of that. If you want to get to either of those drop-off sites before they close, there's one on North Tamiami Trail in North Fort Myers, and another at the Lee County Mosquito Control District. Members of Eagle Creek Golf and Country Club in Naples coming through for club employees still hurting from Hurricane Irma. Their charitable organization named Eagle Creek Florida Charities has raised nearly $30,000 to help families.
Still cold in southwestern Florida. Skies generally clear out there right now. We do have just a few upper level clouds, but other than that, things are quiet right now on the satellite and radar. This picture, though, will change as we work our way through the week because we do have the potential for some showers in the forecast. Current temperatures cool right now. 50 degrees in Fort Myers, 52 in Cape Coral, 52 in Naples, and look at this, 44 in Arcadia right now. Typically about 54 degrees is where the temperature is in the early morning hours, so we are certainly below that, and the dew points are very low as well, which indicates the air is dry, and that typically is what happens when you have that cold air. It is very dry. Winds are out of the northeast. That's certainly not helping our temperature at all because that's allowing for that Arctic air to drain into southwestern Florida. The winds are lightening up right now, but they were breezy earlier. As I had mentioned to you here on our computer model, We have high pressure in place. That's bringing the winds out of the northeast. That's going to continue. However, as I look down the line, for Monday, we'll see some increasing cloud because our next disturbance is going to get organized. That will likely bring some showers as we get into the mid part of the week. Temperatures through tomorrow morning likely going to be into the mid 40s, so it is a chilly, but with the wind out there, likely going to feel into the upper 30s. However, as we get towards the afternoon, temperatures will slowly increase up to about 64 to 66 degrees out there. The model showing a little bit warmer, but that's because we'll have lots and lots of sunshine in the forecast. Winds, though, will remain out of the northeast and breezy at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, and we could see some gusts beyond that before things begin to quiet down as we head in towards Monday. Here's a look at the marine forecast. Because of the wind out there, the waters will actually fairly choppy, so watch out for that tomorrow, but lots of sunshine. The water's really cooled off, only 57 degrees, and the sunset is at 5:50 for tomorrow. I had talked about the fact that there is some rain in the forecast. Well, for Monday, it's mostly cloudy skies, but we are looking at dry conditions out there. Finally, hitting 71 degrees. Things are warming back up. Overnight lows also coming up as well to about 55 degrees. For Tuesday, that was partly cloudy skies, 72 for the high. There's a good chance, though, 40% chance that we could be seeing some showers. The same thing goes through Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures coming up to 74 degrees. This is about where we should be for this time of the year. Overnight lows also coming up to about 61. And we are still looking at some partly cloudy skies there. That chance of showers lingers right through until Friday and even into the first part of next weekend. For Saturday, we're looking at some mainly sunny skies. There's a very slight chance that we could see some showers, but yet another cold front comes through, drops that temperature back down to a high of only 66. And that is a look at your weather. Lisa?
All right, thank you, Trevor. Canine competitions and celebration. A look at what police officers and their families and their dogs were able to do at Sunsplash Water Park today, all to help the loved ones of fallen officers. But first, a boy travels all the way from Colorado to Miami. Why he took this trip and what's next for this little boy. But before we head to the break, here's a look at tonight's winning lottery numbers. And don't forget the live Powerball drawing tonight at 10:59 right here on Fox 4. You're watching Fox 4 News at 10. Well, Make-A-Wish offers kids dealing with serious medical issues the chance to forget about them, if only for a little while. Zoo Miami planned a special day for Rylan Gallagher. He's dealing with cystic fibrosis, and it's a disorder that affects the lungs, the digestive system, and other organs. The 8-year-old from Colorado traveled all the way to South Florida to have his wish of spending time with rare reptiles come true. But as you can see, it wasn't just reptiles. He and his family also got to feed giraffes, pet some rhinos, and take pictures with a giant Burmese python.
They build a whole experience around the child's true wish and give the family a break from the medical conditions that are really affecting their lives.
As a father myself, it just gives me tremendous pleasure to see these kids laugh and smile, and allows me to be a little bit of a kid myself.
So sweet. The special trip to the zoo was just the beginning, though. Rylan's wish trip, including a visit to the Everglades as well as the Florida Keys. For the first time in over 2 years, North and South Korean leaders have agreed to meet for talks. What's expected to come out of these discussions coming up? And these working dogs taking a day at the water park, why they got together, and what the bond between officers and their canine companions really looks like. It's next on Fox 4 News at 10.
Live from the station that's in your corner, you're watching Fox 4 News at 10.
Law enforcement and their canines from every agency in Southwest Florida taking over Sunsplash Water Park today for the Heroes and Hounds Family Festival, hosted by the Cape Coral Police Department. The event included an obstacle course, a chili cook-offs, but even more importantly, it was aimed at supporting the loved ones of fallen officers. 4 in Your Corner's Jasmine Miner spoke to some of those families about what this event means to them.
Training shots fired as hundreds of people came out to cheer on Southwest Florida's officers and their canines through an extensive obstacle course. And fans say these canines have earned the respect of their communities.
These are just not dogs. These are dogs who are part of the police department.
For Debbie Burnfield, the canines brought memories of her son.
My son, Officer Nate Burnfield, was killed on a traffic scene. He was hit by a triaxle. He always wanted to be a canine.
Debbie says he never got that canine, so her family decided to purchase one for the Cape Coral Police Department and is named after her son. And while she says nothing can replace him, buying a canine is one way she shows her support.
It still doesn't bring my son back. It never will. But the sacrifice that these officers even do, they need to be commended and thanked.
And the appreciation and support for those officers and their families filled the park and is seen in vendors like Blue Line Bears.
Really hard giving the bears to them because, like, you know what happened to the family.
15-year-old Megan O'Brady started the nonprofit where she makes teddy bears out of fallen officers' uniforms. Her father, also an officer, says while the bears are free of cost to the families, the passion Megan shows to give back is priceless.
As a police child, she understands what it would be like if something happened to me, and just giving back is something that, we appreciate.
The support from Blue Line Bears and the rest of the law enforcement agencies goes a long way for people like Debbie.
It's bringing tears to my eyes now, but I mean, it's just absolutely tremendous.
Jazza Miner, Fox 4 in your corner.
And Cape Coral Police tell Fox 4 they hope to make this an annual event. Several manatees were spotted crowding together in the waters of Sarasota, trying to stay warm as the temperature drops. The manatees, not the only sea life affected by the colder weather. Many fish and reptiles are in need of a thaw too. The Florida Fish and Wildlife is asking boaters to be extra vigilant watching for manatees right now. And video from Florida's Wildlife Conservation Commission shows a group of sea turtles being rescued from the cold water. The organization has been rescuing the stunned animals since Thursday. Crews sailed to the waters of St. Joe Bay to bring those turtles from the ocean to the shore. Turtles have a hard time moving their muscles when the water temperatures drop below 50 degrees, so you can imagine this is tough. Wildlife officials have rescued more than 200 turtles. And taking a look at that temperature map behind you, Trevor, you can see it's obviously chilly. Of course, these poor animals probably aren't having much of a good time swimming around right now, huh?
Yeah, no, definitely not. The water temperature is at 57 degrees in Fort Myers. Certainly chilly water, and we also have chilly temperatures. 50 degrees in Fort Myers right now, 45 in Punta Gorda, 52 in Naples. The cold spot right now, Arcadia at 43. These temperatures are going to drop into the mid-40s through much of southwestern Florida tonight. A little bit warmer along the coast because the water does moderate the temperature out there for you, but dew points at this point are low, so that means we do have very cold air that's sitting over us. This is Arctic air that's been draining down through much of the eastern United States through this weekend, and this is eventually, though, going to modify as we get into Monday. Unfortunately, not for tomorrow. It's still going to be a bit breezy out there. Winds are out of the northeast right now. Fairly light, but you can see there are some gusts beyond that. So the breezy winds are with us tomorrow. We do have some rain in the forecast. I'll have the details for you coming up.
All right, thanks, Trevor. Well, NASA is saying goodbye to its first space shuttle commander, John Young. The agency says the former astronaut died after complications from pneumonia on Friday. Young was one of the nation's most experienced astronauts who walked on the moon during the Apollo 16 mission in 1972. He was the first American to fly to space 6 times, taking part in NASA's Gemini, Apollo, and Space Shuttle programs. Young was 87 years old. And comedy fans are mourning the loss of actor Jerry Van Dyke. His wife says the 86-year-old comedian died of heart failure in Arkansas Friday afternoon. Van Dyke was best known for playing the assistant coach on the hit series Coach. The show aired in the 80s and 90s. He also made appearances on The Dick Van Dyke Show, which is a classic sitcom named after Jerry's older brother. Jerry's wife, Shirley Ann Jones, says she and her husband suffered a major car accident 2.5 years ago, and the comedian has never really fully recovered from his injuries from that. For the first time in more than 2 years, North and South Korea have agreed to meet for talks. The North has accepted the South's offer, and they'll meet Tuesday ahead of the Winter Olympics in South Korea. 4 In Your Corner's Will Ripley has more from Seoul.
The official word from North Korea came not by phone, but by fax. That is how government officials here in South Korea learned that the North has officially accepted their offer for talks on Tuesday along the demilitarized zone. Talks that, at least at the beginning, will center around North Korea's potential participation in the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. If they can sort out the details and have North Korean athletes here on the southern side of the peninsula, it can really be considered a diplomatic win for both sides. Kim Jong-un can have his athletes marching on an international stage, and he can point to the fact that the U.S. and South Korea agreed to postpone joint military exercises until after the Olympics. Meanwhile, South Korea's President Moon Jae-in, who ran on a platform of engagement with the North, can say that these talks are happening after a very difficult year that saw North Korea conduct 16 missile tests, launch 23 missiles into the sky, and then, of course, conduct their most powerful nuclear test ever. But the question, what happens after the Olympics? Will there be more talks? Will other issues be discussed? Could there potentially be a meeting between South Korea's president and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un? Or is this as far as it goes? We really don't know the answer to that, and that is why many around the world are calling for all sides to remain calm and to see where these talks can go. Specifically, Russia's deputy foreign minister, who spoke out about this, urging the United States and specifically making a not so thinly veiled jab at President Trump, urging him to avoid making threatening statements that could undermine these talks. Of course, what the South Koreans and North Koreans want are very different. The U.S. and its allies are insisting that Kim Jong-un give up his nuclear program in order for the lifting of sanctions and other potential concessions. But Kim Jong-un has said that he absolutely will not give up his nuclear weapons, and that's a stance that's been reiterated to me many times over the last several years by North Korean officials. And so where these talks lead the situation on the Korean Peninsula, still unclear, but the talks on Tuesday, a first step, and what many are hoping is taking this region down a diplomatic path in 2018 and not the alternative, military escalation. Will Ripley, CNN, Seoul.
A new search for a missing flight MH370 is about to begin. The Malaysian government and U.S.-based Ocean Infinity are working on a contract expected to be finalized soon. A spokesman for Ocean Infinity says a vessel has been moved toward the search zone. This search will begin just as soon as the contract is signed. The Malaysian Airlines 370 flight disappeared on March 8, 2014 during a routine flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. There were 227 passengers and 12 crew members aboard that plane. While most of the U.S. East Coast is trapped in polar-like temperatures, in the Czech Republic, they're reveling in it. Swimmers took to the annual plunge into the river to celebrate the Orthodox holiday of Epiphany, also known as Three Kings Day. It was about 50 degrees outside, 39 degrees in the water there. Yikes! Rescue crews were on hand to help swimmers out of the water, and swimmers wore crowns in the water to mark their feet. A massive heat wave, meanwhile, hitting 3 Australian states. The intense heat starting brush fires near Melbourne, burning through several structures today. New video shows large clouds of smoke near homes. More than 50 fires were reported across the state. Over 400 homes lost power. One fire also forcing people to seek shelter because the roads there were just too dangerous to evacuate. A plane crash reported in Canada Friday night. One plane just landing in Toronto Pearson Airport from Cancun, Mexico, was hit by an empty aircraft pushing back from a gate. WestJet Airlines says the plane with 168 passengers and 6 crew members was waiting for a gate when a Sunwing plane struck it. Video seen here shows a fire near the tail of the Sunwing plane. All passengers were evacuated from the WestJet plane safely. Sunwing says there were no passengers or crew on board their plane at the time of this crash, thankfully. A dog snatched up from her home by a bird of prey. How she fought the odds and with a little luck was reunited with her family. And a kitten literally stuck in the cold. Meet the man who rescued this sweet kitty and found out his new name. But first, dogs on death row. How prisoners are helping animals scheduled to be euthanized to find a second chance at a happy life. You're watching Fox 4 News at 10. Trevor?
And here's a look at our Storm Smart Sky Cam, and this is from Pink Shell. It was a beautiful day out there, but it was chilly. But still people braving the beaches. I'll have your full forecast coming up in just a bit.
Dogs sitting on death row are getting a second chance at life with some surprising companions. 4 in Your Corner's Michael Hatfield has this story of redemption for both man and dog.
We go home. Tiva broke out of the Dick Connor Correctional Center today after 12 weeks behind bars.
It's a piece of me that's leaving. You know, I put a lot of work into her. Sometimes 6 and 8 hours hard a day.
The pup, once abandoned, starving, and days away from being euthanized, spent her time in lockup, sharing a cell with Marvin Poindexter, a man sentenced to 2 life sentences for manslaughter and drug charges.
They sleep right there with me pretty much, so It's an everyday thing. It's nonstop training.
That training is part of a program that gives a group of prisoners the chance to train dogs that no one else seemed to want, so they can find a home and a family to love them. As valuable as this program has been for the dogs, saving them from being euthanized, it's been equally, if not more valuable for the inmates.
The guys have something to care about and something to work for every day, you know, and it takes a lot of the prison out of it. It changes people on the inside.
Poindexter says Tiva has given him a sense of home. But today, the two said their final goodbyes. The dogs and their trainers graduated from the program. Most of the dogs already placed with a new family. Tiva is a Christmas present to Haley Lewis's two girls. Today is the first time Lewis was able to meet the new addition to her family and the man behind bars who saved her life.
It's good to put a face with the person that's been with her for 12 weeks and that she's, learned so much from, and a little emotional, knowing that, these guys all probably care so much for these dogs. They've been such a big part of their daily routines.
She's a real lovable dog. I can't make a mark out there no more, but if I can do anything to help, which I help these dogs.
So sweet to see those dogs getting new homes. And now Oklahoma isn't the only place that has programs like this. In